All right. So, namaste everyone, and welcome to this full moon meditation. Um, Before we start, let us ask for divine blessings to the Supreme God, to the Divine Father, Divine Mother, to Lord Maha Guruji Meiling, to Master Choa Kok Sui, to all the great ones, all the holy gurus, holy masters, holy saints, holy angels, spiritual helpers, to all the siddhas, to all the buddhas and bodhisattvas, to all the great ones. We thank you for your divine guidance, help, healing, and protection. Thank you for your divine love and mercy, for the blessings of physical healing and inner healing. With thanks and in full faith. Thank you for blessing us with humility, with wisdom, with discernment, with harmlessness in thoughts, words, and actions. With thanks and in full faith. So be it. All right. So, welcome once again. Now, if you're joining us for the first time as a full moon meditation participant, a quick note and as to why we always meditate on a full moon, especially on a full moon. We meditate every day, but why especially on a full moon? There are many reasons to it. One is, esoterically speaking, the full moon is an opportunity where we are aligned with a planetary being which is reaching its peak of meditation in a month, within a month, reaching the peak of the meditation on the day of full moon. And so when we consciously try to raise our consciousness, we try to align with that energy. Hopefully, we also experience the expansion of consciousness. And of course, with that energy, many things are possible. From another perspective, from a more day-to-day perspective, it is a time for opportunity or a time of crisis, depending on how or which side you are on. It's a crisis because if you don't know, the spiritual energy, which is on a much higher quantity on this day, especially, can fertilize the weeds within you. Okay. On the other hand, um, the weeds, of course, are the negative tendencies and the qualities and so on. That's why on this day, especially, some people who have a tendency to become angry, they get even angrier, or small things trigger them. Some people who have the tendency to be sad or depressed, they feel even more sad or depressed. It's like heightening of that syndrome, right? On the other hand, it is an opportunity if, since you know that there is increased downpour of energy, you can just direct that energy like you know, a pipe or a pressured pipe, I would say, to flush out the weaknesses, the negative qualities, and then use the same energy to uplift you, to germinate good within you. Okay, so, and hopefully, since all of you are here, you are on the side of the opportunity. So that's a good news, right? Now, before we meditate, we always cover a topic, short topic, to um, what Master said actually was that on this day, when we do the meditation, always you should include a small teaching or a small topic so that on this day, when you study spiritually, spiritual teaching especially, it goes deeper in your consciousness, in your soul. So we try our best to bring small topics to give some insights, share our understanding and experience um, on the same lines. Okay, so tonight we will talk about, or the title of tonight's session is softening the metal beak. Now, metal beak. Beak, as you know, is the the birds have those beaks, right? The chonch, as we call this in Hindi. And You imagine the beak being made of metal, a metallic beak rather than the beak of a normal bird. Now, what does that mean in our context? And how do we soften the metallic beak? Now, um, since most of us here are on the spiritual path, we aspire to grow spiritually. And as we grow, as we practice the virtues, as we purify ourselves, especially on the virtue of honesty and non lying, it will happen that your mind becomes sharper, razor sharp at times. Okay. Now, um, while it is a good thing, but if you're not careful, the razor can cut, isn't it? Now, before we go further, let's take a step back first. Now, in our daily existence, there is a study which says that a human being on an average produces 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. We have also taken many lifetimes, and we may have accumulated many tendencies, many qualities or weaknesses, and so on. Okay, so it's all accumulated within us. Now, thinking about the thoughts that we produce every day, and since many people are not careful or not aware, or even if they are aware, it is not always easy, that the thoughts are colored by our emotions. Sometimes you want to think something through, but if you are emotionally down, right, you may have experienced that you are unable to think clearly, or even if your intent is not wrong, but since you're emotionally, let's say, agitated or irritated, right? Now, what comes out of your mind and your mouth is filled with that. And even if you don't want to hurt other person, what you say or do hurts others. Yes. Now, this, of course, in the esoteric circles is called karma manasic tendency. We have talked about this in many other previous sessions, right? Karma manasic. Karma means desire or emotions. Manasic is mind. So when the emotions take over the mind, so emotions control the mind, karma manasic tendency. Now, if these tendencies, which one we are carrying from different lifetimes, and also every single day we think, we produce so many thoughts, and if we are not careful, if we are not taking conscious steps to slowly remove them, these tendencies tend to harden. Now, when I say harden, means or these thought forms, right? Now, for example, you take um, a vessel of yours and you do not clean it properly every day and you keep cooking in the same vessel. Have you not noticed that um, some of the oil starts to harden on the surface of the vessel or something like that, right? So these tendencies harden up. Now, when these tendencies harden up, especially when we're talking about the emotions taking over the mind, they may, one of the way it may manifest is through cruelty in actions, in words, and in thoughts. One of the ways. Of course, there are other flavors of it, but um, being harmful to others with our actions, with our words, with our thoughts, sharp words, criticizing thoughts, right? Mental criticism. Now that happens, and that is, whether we like it or not, many a times keeps happening to many of us. Now, hopefully, physical cruelty is something that most of us may have kind of overcome by now, hopefully. But what about the verbal cruelty, the sharp words that keep coming out of our mouth? So, this is what uh, the metallic beak. So, now let's connect the dots. What is this so called metallic beak? In a certain esoteric sense, the there is a comparison given. The thought forms are likened to birds. Okay. Now, the birds, too many thought forms which are hardened, the tendencies which are hardened, uh, the birds with metal wings and so on. So the metal wings or the metallic beak or the metallic claws, right? Now, this metal is essentially a symbol of the tendency which has hardened, taken root, become so hard in yourself that difficult to change. And the beak refers to, especially the title for us tonight is the metallic beak, right? So the beak denotes words or symbolize the words or the expression, the verbal expression, essentially. Okay. So as you know, the sharp metals can cut, the metal can make someone bleed. So as your sharp tongue can cut and wound others. Yes? Okay. Now, let's focus on one aspect of verbal uh, cruelty, right? In a certain say, in a certain sense. One of the ways it manifests is through the tendency to gossip, the tendency to shoot people at the back. Okay. Now, in when you study the spiritual science, the esoteric science, you realize that it is one of the most horrible wickedness, as they say, a very, very cruel thing to do. Why? Let's understand why gossip is um, so cruel on someone whom you gossip about. Number one. So, what are the effects of gossip, right? Number one, what can happen is when you tell others about a person X, the other person may not have earlier noticed it or observed it. But since you're calling it out, the person starts to observe and starts to think in that same direction. What are you doing with that? Instead of just your own thought form, now you have additional person or persons who are creating the same thought form for this person who you are gossiping about. So the multiplying effect, the magnifying effect. So you're making the person even worse, right? Number one. Number two, if the bad quality really existed, sometimes we imagine, right? Sometimes it is possible that the so-called bad quality exists, but every time you gossip about it, you make the person worse because of the earlier effect. If the quality or the so-called depravity or the negative, quality of the person whom you are uh, gossiping about exists only in your imagination, sometimes it is just our imagination, right? And it is not really present in the person. The evil quality may even be created in that person. You are almost like sowing a seed of that quality when you think negatively of a person and you continue to. Sometimes we just perceive someone to be negative. In our own mind, we imagine, oh, this person must be like that. Or, so we are sowing the seed of that bad quality within the person, which is one day it will germinate. So, and lastly, uh, if the seed already existed, but the seed is kind of covered up or is latent, the germ or the seed is still latent, right, within the victim, so-called victim. I'm calling this person whom you're gossiping about as a victim because this person doesn't even know that you're talking like this about him or her, right? Now, if the germ or the seed is latent or covered up because of your gossip, it may germinate, it may get enlivened again. Now that is very, very cruel, right? Because of some reason, if the germ was still latent, but because you fertilized it with your thoughts, by gossiping, by saying nasty words and stuff like that, you're making the person worse. Now, according to the law of karma, what you give is what you receive. If any of those four things happen, depending on the result, right? Because you don't know the result of your gossip. Sometimes we just keep on talking about somebody to whosoever cares to listen to you or gives you a few minutes. And if any, depending on which of the effects happened, what you sow is what you yourself reap. So that is one aspect to understand, that we do not want to sow negative seeds. But now coming to the solution, okay, so the metallic beak is one of the effects is the gossip, right? Now, what is the antidote? What is the antidote of gossip? The antidote of gossip is silence. Easier said than done, but let's break it down. Okay. What is the meaning of silence? Number one, as much as possible, be aware and refrain from speaking behind people's back. Let's say somebody calls you about something, you're talking, and the person starts talking about it. Somehow, if you can stop the person or disconnect the call or something like that, right? Or in some other way, refrain from talking behind people's back by all means. Okay, very, very important. Number two, not only you don't say negative, but another way, let's say you can't disconnect the call. What can you do? In your mind, you can start reflecting on the, even though you're listening to the other person, you're not interested, but you can't disconnect, right? Or you're in a set of people, you're a bunch of people, you're sitting together, people are just left, right, center talking about someone, and you don't really want to participate, but at the same time, you can't really leave the group and walk out. So you could just simply shift your mind, shift your thoughts to start thinking about the good qualities on that person, of that person. So you reflect. Okay. By the way, this also applies to your loved ones. Can you imagine, to those whom we love, we unknowingly injure them so much more. We say we love them, but when they make mistakes, we keep harping on them. So, but on the other hand, we should think of them in such a high ideal that one day they may attain it, right? They may attain it. Meaning, if you know of a defect or a vice or a negative quality within a loved one, or anybody for that matter, right, whom you are gossiping about, never dwell on that thought or on those thoughts. Rather, create the opposite virtue and send those thoughts, those blessings to that person. Now, this requires awareness. This requires, first of all, the physical silence, number one, and then it also requires inner silence, which then leads to stillness. So we'll talk about it. But now, basically, creating those thoughts and sending the blessings. Since I think almost all of you who are listening pranic healers, you know how to project the blessings. You don't have to raise hands if you're sitting in a group, but you know what we're talking about, right? You can mentally send the blessings. So when you think positive, you are actually helping the person come out of that negative quality. Okay, that is very, very important. And as we said, this requires awareness. And that's the key. In theory, it's all good. Okay, silence and blessing and all that. But the point is, how do you do that? You can only do that when you have the ability to be aware. That awareness comes when you are internally still. In our studies, it is called the practice of pratyahara. One of the ways. Now, what is the meaning of pratyahara? Pratyahara is about, one of the ways to describe pratyahara is closing your senses. Of course, when you practice in a traditional yoga way, they say, okay, close your eyes, ears, and all of that. And then you just, be in that pose, and then, but not necessarily the physical aspect of it, right? Of course, you are there, but you are, when we say close yourself, close your senses, meaning you do not allow, first of all, the stimulus coming from outside to enter you, to affect you. Step one. And then from there, once you have closed your senses in a symbolic sense, maybe, but then from there, you go inwards and upwards, go within. And when you go within, that's where you find deep stillness. And from that stillness comes the, in that space of stillness, in the space of silence, um, comes a greater awareness, further greater awareness about your unity, the unity consciousness, or the sense of peace, the sense of oneness, and so on. Okay. Then you are ready to do all the things that we said earlier, blessing and all of that, right? Otherwise, it is difficult. Which means, by some way, if you can learn how to maintain the inner silence despite being in a very noisy situation, physically or your own thoughts, either way, then you are ready to tap into that peace, that stillness, that kindness, the compassion, all of that you can tap into. And from there, you can release the blessings. Okay. So, um, of course, I remember there was uh, a teaching from some teacher. I don't remember who said it exactly, but let's say somebody tries to engage you in a conversation which is gossipy. So, if possible, you can start by saying, "Hey, perhaps what you're saying is true or not true. And even if it is true, it may not be kinder, or it is kinder to not speak of it." Okay. At least in your mind, if you can remember this teaching, uh, hopefully you would not participate in the thing, right? So now, anyway, so that's a little short insight on gossip and how to avoid it. So, but let's make it practical, shall we? So please close your eyes, sit comfortably, sit with your spine straight, sit with your spine straight, connect your tongue to the roof of your mouth. You may put your hands in the Namaste Mudra on your heart. Just breathe normally. Be aware of your heart. Go deep inside your heart. As you go deep inside your heart, be aware of a beautiful flame. This is a flame of peace. Be aware of deep peace within you. and around you. Make peace with any sound that you hear from outside. Make peace with all the thoughts you may be having. Be still. Be aware of the flame of peace. Do not react to the sounds from outside. Make peace with any sound that you hear. You say to yourself, any sound that I hear is taking me deep into the meditation, is taking me into deep stillness. Observe your breath simultaneously. Bring back your focus on your breath and the flame. If you feel your attention is getting diverted, bring it back. Now be aware that this flame from your heart is going up, up, up into the center of your brain, between the right brain and the left brain, around your pineal gland, in the center of your head. Keep your consciousness and awareness for a few moments onto this flame inside your brain. Now be aware that this flame is rising up, up, up to about 12 inches above your head. Be aware of the peace, stillness, and calmness in this flame. Be aware of the inner silence peace, and your breath as your consciousness expands and goes up, up, up to about 2 meters above your head. This is the place of your higher soul. Be still, be aware. Be aware that these energies of peace and stillness are radiating in your aura, your entire aura, your body, and your aura are infused with these energies from your higher soul. Be still, be aware, and let go. Gently, slowly, be aware that this flame is descending down, down, down to 12 inches above your head, down, down, down into the center of your head, down, down inside your heart. Now raise your hands in blessing. Be aware of your heart and crown. Silently repeat after me. You may also visualize Mother Earth in front of you. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Wherever there is hatred in the world, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon and forgiveness. Where there is doubt, faith, despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light, sadness, joy. Allow yourself to become a channel of peace, love, forgiveness, hope, and faith, of light and joy. Flood the entire earth with peace, with harmony, with forgiveness. May the wounds, the emotional wounds, the inner wounds of people be healed. May all those who are suffering physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, may all of them be healed, be blessed. So be it. Silently repeat after me, O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. So be it. Continue blessing the earth with light and joy, with hope and faith, with peace and love. May all the sentient beings in the higher worlds, middle worlds, lower worlds, in all dimensions, in all directions, be divinely blessed with compassionate, purifying light and soothing, healing energies. So be it. May all the sentient beings be blessed without exception. May all those who are suffering be blessed, be healed. May they be filled with hope and faith. So be it. Tonight, someone really needs a glimmer of hope, a strand of faith somewhere in the world. Pour all your blessings which are pouring through you. They are not your blessings, they are blessings of the higher beings, of the Guru, of the Supreme God. Allow these blessings to flow through you. May every person, every being be blessed. So be it. May the whole of mineral kingdom be blessed. So be it. May the whole of plant kingdom be blessed. So be it. May all the animal kingdom be blessed. So be it. May all the human kingdom and the superhuman kingdom be blessed. The angelic kingdom be blessed. So be it. Visualize the aura of the earth turning pinkish gold, transmuting all the negative energies of sadness, depression, anger, irritation, cruelty, separativeness. May all these energies be transmuted. May whole of Mother Earth be blessed. So be it. May Mother Earth be revitalized and regenerated. So be it. May all inhabitants of Mother Earth be blessed. So be it. Now bless your city where you live with good air, good water, and good earth. So be it. May every person, every being in the city be blessed, be healed, be happy. May they progress in all aspects. So be it. Bless all the medical institutions, educational institutions, all the businesses, all the farmers. So be it. May the sources of our food and water be blessed. So be it. May the very air that we breathe be blessed. So be it. Now bless your home. Shower your home with lots of peace, love, and harmony. With lots of love, forgiveness. Bless all your family members with flexibility, with understanding, with tolerance, with patience. So be it. With forgiveness. So be it. With trust on each other. So be it. With healing. So be it. With togetherness. So be it. Now bless your wishes. You may visualize your wishes if you have them written down, your Kriya Shaktis, or if you have your wishes in your mind, that's also okay. Visualize the end result. Take a moment to visualize the end result and just pour the blessings and on not only your wishes but also the wishes of all the others who are meditating with us. May all your wishes be blessed. May all of them be materialized fully, properly, and rapidly. Right now, so be it. As your heart desires, so be it, so be it, and so it is. In the name of Supreme God, in the name of Lord Mahaguruji Mailing, in the name of Master Chua Koksri and all the higher beings, so be it, so be it, and so it is. Om. Amen. Amin. Tathastu. So it is. May you be blessed with waves of love, waves of peace, waves of happiness, waves of joy. So be it, so be it, and so it is. Om. Tathastu. So it is. Release the blessings, you say. Cut, cut, cut. Let us give thanks. to the Supreme God, to the Divine Father, Divine Mother, to Lord Mahaguruji Mailing, to Master Chua Koksui, to all the great ones, all the holy gurus, holy masters, saints, archangels, holy angels, healing ministers, spiritual helpers, to the beings of light, and to all the great ones. We thank you for your priceless blessings, for your divine guidance, help, healing, and protection. Thank you for your divine love and mercy. Thank you for all the blessings that we may not be even aware of. With thanks and in full faith. Thank you for keeping us humble. Thank you for blessing us with the ability to share these blessings and teachings with others and to serve. Thank you for blessing us with harmlessness in thoughts, words, and actions, especially with words. May our tongue become harmless now and forever. So be it. All right. You may gently open your eyes. We hope you're okay. Now, after the meditation, of course, you can sit for a little longer if you like in silence. But once you're done, please get up and do some body shaking exercises. Just shake your body, exercise all your joints if you can, and including the eyes, of course, right? And I think that's that. Do write to us with your experiences and share. Um, or if you need any blessings or anything specific, do reach out to us and join us on a day-to-day, uh, everyday meditation, and you can participate in blessings as well. Okay, so take care, everyone. Namaste to all.